Hello and welcome to the ACE Summer Homework unboxing video. If you are a new student at ACE Academy for Character Education Charter School, we welcome you. And every summer we send out a packet that looks like this. You should be receiving yours soon if you haven't gotten it already. And it will have your name up here at the top and then the class you are in. And that is going to be an important detail that we're going to need to refer to later. And then you're going to have, it's not going to say summer HLAs, but let me explain what that is. Summer is important because ACE believes that we avoid summer learning loss by having you do work, a little bit of work in the summertime. And then home linked assignments is your homework. That's just the way of saying this is your list of assignments. Homework seems optional, but HLAs is part of our fabric of our school as a blended learning school. So this video is for new families who are in Dialectic 1, 2, or 3. And so as we unbox your thing, you'll take it out of the envelope, and here you go. You'll have this, a few different things in the packet. There should be 4 items. You'll have this thing that's your appendices, lots of stuff in there. You'll have this list of assignments, which I will show you about, a red math parent key, and a blue student 12 lessons worth out of a book. And so I'm going to have you go where I go on this and start with this top one. Okay? Assuming you are a new student, I'm going to only talk about what you have to do as a new student. These are multiplication facts, and if this is something you can do in 5 minutes, great. You're going to work on that once a week just to review. But if you are in a situation where you do not comfortably do multiplication facts in 5 minutes, then we want you to get better and better at that, because we see a direct link between the time and the anxiety and the stress of doing a math lesson and getting this done quickly. So if you can get this done quickly, your math lesson will take a lot less time every single time you do a math lesson, which is a lot of time saved. So we're going to ask you to do one of these a week. They have different formats, and they provide them all here. So that's about 6 of them for the whole entire summer. No big deal. Now you have a math puzzler, which you're going to see in the list of assignments. I'll refer to this. The front of it is the puzzler, and it says at the top the directions, which say that you can enter to win a Barnes & Noble card. And then you have the answer key back here. Don't use the answer key unless you just want to check yourself. Then when students do some reading this summer, they are going to get that reading out of these pages, and those are referred to here. They're going to write a paragraph at the dialectic level, and maybe some students who are new have not done that before. So here's a quick 1-page overview on what that would look like. And this page is your chemistry. Now it's kind of hidden, it's kind of small because it's only a 1-pager, but 4 times this summer there will be 4 times this summer there will be some assignments for chemistry. It's going to be small, not a lot of homework, but this is kind of a good overview to kind of get you prepared for chemistry. And then that's not for Dialectic 1 students. Dialectic 1 students do not have to do this, but that direction will be somewhere else. I'll show you that in a second. This is your Latin packet, and all the way to the end of this big packet is your Latin. And let me get to the end here. All of these pages, all the way to this end page of week 6, all of that Latin is trash. So you, as a new family, can throw this whole entire chunk out and recycle it. Okay, throw that on the ground. Get rid of it so nobody gets confused. And now you have kind of ripped apart your packet, but you can staple it back together. Then in the when I tell you about the assignments, we'll look at the book report. This is part of the book report. This is for reading. You can fill this out to get a reward for reading. I think that's for younger students. There are some instructions for Dialectic 1 Dialectic 2 and Dialectic 3 students to optionally do a nature journal. Nature journaling is really great for learning how to observe closely, and there's some instructions. And then if your parents need to grade those math drills for you with the answer key, here's the answer key. So far, what I did is I took the 4 things that were in your packet, and I ripped this first one apart, and I threw away the Latin parts, and I just showed you what the rest were. So you can staple or clip that back together. And now when I tell you what the instructions are, you're going to know what I'm referring to. Okay, so I'm just going to put this out of our site for right now. Okay, for this assignment, for this part, this is your 2020 Summer Home Linked Assignments, Dialectic Levels. Dialectic Levels 1, 2, and 3. And first I'm going to go over the frequently asked questions. Why do we have home linked assignments? Like I said earlier in the video, summer learning loss. We want to avoid summer learning loss. And we are also a year-round school officially. So it's a little bit of homework in the summer to kind of make sure we don't lose our learning. What level of schoolwork should I complete? Well, that is where I showed you at the very beginning. You have on the envelope, there was a class here. This should say Dialectic 1, Dialectic 2, or Dialectic 3. And then you will be, this video is for you. What if I have a question about what to do? There's a great place to contact, email addresses, and ACE. How should I turn in my homework? That is going to happen through Google Classroom for Dialectic 3 students, but everybody else will just fill it out on paper, and then you will turn it into this envelope at the end of the summer. And as a family, I really value this envelope. By the end of the summer, it might be a little bit damaged, but I really value this. We just keep this stuff in the envelope all summer long. It can go with us if we're traveling, camping, whatever. If people want to do a little bit here and there, it's all in this envelope, and then you turn it in this envelope at the end of the year, at the end of the summer, first week of September. What if, when are they due? Well, there's 2 options. Option 1 is turn it in at the end of July and at the end of August, because then you'll get a reward at the end of July and a reward at the end of August. Or you can do the second option, which is just to turn it all in at the end of the summer. Nothing is due until the end of the summer, and that is your second option, but it only comes with 1 reward. So choose what you'd like. The back of the page says, what if I don't complete them? Well, this does finalize your enrollment in ACE, so do your very best. And if you don't get finished, then ACE will come, when you come back to school in the fall, we will help you finish it. Reading contest is going to happen. I'll explain that as we go along. Math Puzzler is that competition that I showed you, but I'll show you again. And multiplication tables is something we really want you to do around October at the dialectic level. If you are not passing your dialectic, or the multiplication drills by around October, we'll try to support that with extra supports, because we know it's going to save you so much time. Okay, now these pages are all the same almost. There's just a little bit of difference, and I'm going to show you what those are. So I'd like you to get your highlighter and pause the video as much as you'd prefer to pause it. And then I want you to highlight your page like mine is highlighted, because that'll help you make sense of this whole thing. First of all, this top one is that this is week 1. And you can even write up there on top, week 1. Everybody will have 1 math class in the month of July. So there's the directions for that. Then there's a character box that talks about our character trait. Every month we have a new character trait for ACE. And this one is virtue. I think my marker just made that hard to read. But virtue is our character trait for this summer, and this is what you need to memorize. So dialectic students will memorize this over the summer and come back in September ready to tell it to their teacher or write it or whatever. Math, there will be 2 lessons to complete per week. So there's 6 weeks worth of homework in the summer. We have 3 weeks in July, and then 1 week off, and then 3 weeks in August, and then 1 week off. So altogether, that's 6 weeks of homework. That's 12 lessons for the whole summer. Okay, 12 lessons for the whole summer. And then there's the multiplication drills. Remember where I showed you, we were in that packet, I think I put it away. The multiplication drills in this appendix. Go back here. There's your multiplication drills. This is a drill sheet. This is not a math lesson. Some people think it's a math lesson when they start off at ACE, and it's not. It's just a drill quick sheet. So I'll explain what that is. Memory work is optional, and we have something called timeline dates that we do at ACE every year, and you can try to memorize those earlier in the year, in the summertime. Writing is something we think you need a little bit of practice on in the summer, so you'll read about virtue, and then you'll write a paragraph about it, and then Dialectic 3 students, they're actually going to be in classroom. So your academic dean, Mrs. Carmack, will get you set up with Google Classroom, and that is where you will find your writing assignments. And like I said, those are back in that appendix, right? The readings on virtue. And so you can just open it back up and see where the readings are, right? I just had it right there. So there's the reading. Appendix 3, Week 1. That's what you're supposed to read. That's for Week 1. We go to the back of the page. I want you to pause the video and make your sheet look just like mine. Typing is 30 minutes per week. There's a program for that. You'll get it through your email. Reading is 1 chapter book for all of July and 1 chapter book for all of August. And then chemistry is a Dialectic 1 has optional chemistry stuff. Dialectic 2 has those chemistry HLAs. Once again, referring back to the appendix, we have the chemistry page. It says chemistry HLAs, summer 2020, and this tells you what to do. So for chemistry, you're going to look at fireworks and draw and observe them. So that's the kind of simple stuff there is this summer for chemistry. Okay, so Dialectic 3, you also have instructions, same exact instructions. Okay, Latin, you can just take your marker and cross that off because anybody who's brand new to ACE does not have Latin homework. Because it's just a review in the summertime, and you have nothing to review because you have not done it yet. And health and PE standards are here. That is something that ACE has decided to let parents manage. The government wants to make sure the schools make sure kids know about health and about PE, which is great. We just think that it's a valuable resource when parents are able to communicate those standards. So we give you a tool for that, and that is in the ability for you to email Mrs. Sano and get a copy. So that's very easy to do. So just to review, this is in the home linked assignment packet. We went through the FAQs. We went through Week 1, and now Week 2 looks exactly the same. Same character trait, same expectation to do 2 math lessons, same optional memory work, same reading something, a different something, and writing a paragraph. Typing, 30 minutes a week. Reading, a chapter book. Same chapter book you were reading last week, keep reading it, or read more, of course. And then chemistry, you have the same sheet to refer to. Latin, you cross off just the same. And health and PE, still email Mrs. Sano for a copy. Okay, Week 3 has one small difference, but everything else is the same. So we have Week 3, character, math, 2 lessons, multiplication drill, memory work, which is optional, writing, and for writing this time we have a book report. So for the book report, it is attached here to the back. It's very simple little form, and you can do it on notebook paper or just do it on this paper, and this will be on the book that you read in July. It's not an additional book, it's just the same exact book you just read. And then I didn't highlight this. So then you have chemistry assignments just like, I showed you earlier. For Dialectic 1, it's optional. And then you just look at those chemistry HLAs. Latin, we cross off again. And then health and PE standards, email Mrs. Sano if you want them. Okay? Now you can pause and make your video look just like mine or your paper look just like mine. Moving on. So we just did the 3 weeks of July. July week 1, July week 2, and July week 3, right? Orange, yellow, and pink. I'm doing the same thing for August. It's the exact same things, except for a little different reading and different math lesson, but still the same concept. Character, same thing. Math, 2 lessons and a multiplication drill. Memory work, which is optional. Writing, which is read it and do a paragraph. And Dialectic 3 is still going into Classroom to get their assignment. You'll be emailed all about how to get into your Google Classroom account. Typing, 30 words per minute goal, just 30 minutes per week. And reading, start a new chapter book in August. So you read at least 1 chapter book in August. And then chemistry, same document I showed you earlier. Cross out that Latin and email Mrs. Sano if you want to deal with the health and PE standards. So that's week 1 of August. Week 2 of August, same thing. Different reading topic, same concept. And highlighted back there. You can highlight just like I did. And then week 6, same thing as the week 3 at the end of July. There was the only major change was this book report, right? Character, math, memory work, book report, and typing 30 minutes, reading, continue that book you've been reading in August. And then chemistry is that 1 document I showed you. Cross out that Latin. So this overall is the simplicity that we want you to feel like it's as simple as we intend it to be. Obviously, there's a learning curve, but curves flatten out. The reason they're called curves is because they flatten at the end. So you have to learn, and then after you learn a while, then it curves, it evens back out. So I know that it's new, but it's not going to change. This is a consistent element of summer for ACE students, which makes it pretty efficient for families who've been here more than 1 year. Okay, so at the back of that packet, there was a couple of additional things. This is the reading log to just write down if you want to do the book competition. Some kids read thousands of pages in the summer, which is great. This just kind of shows you. One thing I do want to mention is that sometimes kids write down like each chunk they read. And if you're going to read, Harry Potter, you can just say that the whole book had 367 pages in it. I'm just assuming I'm making that up. But my point is you don't have to go like pages 1 through 24, pages 25 through 32. Like you don't have to do that. Just put the whole total on there if your kid is a big reader. Okay, and then the book report form, there's 1 of them here, but there's 1 in the appendix also. And then this is the math puzzler. We have it in 2 locations. It's in the appendix and it's here. But you can look and see Dialectic 1 through 2 and 3 has like a July question and an August question. And then Dialectic 3 has a different question. So kind of fun. This is for you to have typing goals. And for Dialectic 1 through 2, their goal is to have 30 words per minute. For Dialectic 3 up to rhetoric, their goal is 40 words a minute. So that's really exciting. They don't have to do it anytime soon, but if they continue working at it all year long, there is a good reward for them in May or June of next year, 2021. So we got through that whole frequently asked questions part, and now we can see that you got done with the appendix, the set of things from the appendix, and this home-linked assignments packet, and you can write their name here and their class. That'll help you out. And now let's look at the math, okay? So the math has 2 parts to it. One is the student part, and this contains the lessons and the review homework. And then I'll show you how to do the answer key grading, okay? So I'm going to open up to the middle of the book and give you an example of what it looks like to do a lesson through this book. Here's lesson 9. We have a warm-up here. And this box is just that. It's just a quick warm-up. Then it introduces a new concept with examples and the answers to work out with your class, hopefully. And then after you learn, then you do the new topic that you just learned in this chunk called the lesson practice. And then you move on to the mixed practice. Mixed practice is what the kids do at home. So our goal is that in your math class in July, and then in your math class in August, you learn the new concepts. And then after you learn all these new concepts and you do the lesson practices in class, hopefully you can get those all done. At home, the only major thing you need to do is the mixed practice. And you can do that all on notebook paper. Some kids write it in here, but this is high enough math that it's complicated. And then to grade, you just open up to that lesson and you say, is it correct or not? Now, I personally prefer to have people mark with something that's really clear what's correct or incorrect. So some kids grow up and their teacher will use a check mark for correct, and then they'll use a check mark the next year for incorrect. And that can be confusing. So just agree on what means correct and incorrect. Star is usually obviously correct, and X is obviously incorrect. You can do either way. And the parent can go through and say, okay, on number 11, it was supposed to be 4,215. Is that what he got here? And then you can just go mark on the notebook paper or on the book, yes or no. Then ACE asks parents to give pretty quick feedback. And that feedback is really helpful because that will help your kid improve, right? That's really, really efficient learning. And so then the student takes the assignment back and makes the corrections. And when it's correct to 100% or nearly to 100%, then we see that your math lesson is complete. So that's how to do the math lessons. This is the appendix and the instructions. And we expect and hope that you will let us know if you have any questions. And at the end of the summer, we will see you. And we'll see you at math class in July, math class in August. And you put it all back in this envelope and bring it back to ACE. So let us know if you have any questions, and we would love to help you out.